are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm living my best life. Couldn't be better.
Truly?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, I was like, damn, you should have led with that earlier. I didn't. What is happening?
Listen, Maddie, do you want to talk about them? What do you have on your face?
Bangs.
We love bangs. I wish I could have bangs. I don't have enough hair.
Wow.
It'd be like 3 pieces.
And that's currently how I'm feeling.
No, yours look cute.
Thanks. I went to the gym and haven't had time to restyle them. I love bangs, but it is such a nightmare waking up in the morning and having to deal with them.
I barely can handle hair without bangs. If I had curly bangs, that would be so terrible. It'd be like 3 wisps. Curly cues like Superman.
You got your hair done, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it cut.
Haircut queens.
Haircut queens. I got a long layered cut that I always get. Nothing ever different. Because we want to have long hair and then we'll do something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you're working on the growth.
Yeah, we gotta grow.
You're gonna dye it a fun color someday soon.
Guys, anytime you want to share our podcast or influence your friends to listen, that would be great because that's the only way we're gonna be able to dye my hair purple.
That's what I'm saying. If you want Hannah to have purple hair, share this podcast.
Please, because then it might be possible.
How can people support us? People can support us on Patreon.
They sure can. And we're just like trying to beef that up with whatever you guys want on Patreon. So if there's anything you can think of that's some content that you'd want to see or hear, let us know and we'll add it in. We're new to all of this, but we want to try and make you guys happy. So keep us posted.
And yeah, I was going to say that stuff ideally will be somewhat exclusive to the Patreon. So the more suggestions you have as a patron, the more you and that select group will get. So
we do have posted the edited podcast video version. So if you do join our Patreon, you do get access to seeing the video version of the audio that you're listening to right now. In addition, though, for free on YouTube, we have a YouTube cut edited version of the podcast that is very funny. And that's on Baby Influencers YouTube. And we like posting that one as well. That one's makes us more entertaining. That's for sure.
I mean, listen, we're very entertaining.
Of course.
Sean's pretty funny.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
I am very much enjoying our Wednesday catch-up only.
Me
I think
too.
It's getting better and better. We love when people come on and chat with us, so make a Twitch, come join us. It's Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Central, which is 6 Pacific time.
Bingo.
Right?
I don't think, two things. I don't think you have to have a Twitch account to watch, though.
Perfect.
I think you can just click on the link and watch from, there is an app, but I think it will open in your browser on your phone. Nice. And I think you can watch without having an account. You may not be able to comment without an account. So if you want to be involved in the chat, which is what we're interacting with, you'd want an account. But definitely do it. And if you're one of those people like us a couple months ago before we really knew what Twitch was, there's a ton of stuff that is offered on Twitch, not just us. There are graphic designers that do live streams of their art and what they're working on, and they'll do question and answers. I mean, there's people working on cars, there's singers, there's comedians, there's talk shows. I mean, it's not all video games, and I think people are still stuck on this train of why would I go watch anyone play a video game? I don't play video games. So just know that when we are streaming Catch Up Only, it is a conversation much like this. It's just live, and you guys have an opportunity to interact.
And it's super fun because now my family decided to watch it on Wednesday night. So the Ganshaws tune in, and it's really uncomfortable and awkward for me, and everybody else has a fun time.
Reminder that our Etsy store is open. Right now we got the stickers. If you are someone who has either of our phone numbers, shoot us a text. We might have a promo code for you. But if you don't have my cell phone number, well, you're out of luck.
Sorry, guys. You got to be close enough to us to get the promo code for now. And then I think our Patreon offers a promo code as well depending on the tier that you join on. But you get a discount code with Patreon as well for our Etsy shop. We're trying, guys. We're business professionals here.
It's true.
We just need you to get on board.
And we, as we like to remind everyone, aren't gonna stop.
Yeah, guys. Again, the content and it's gonna keep coming. It is up to you to watch it and share it because unfortunately, it's not gonna stop. So
you better just
get on
support
board.
us.
Yeah. Support us now because when we're famous and you didn't support us, it's gonna be really embarrassing for you.
Absolutely.
Because again, we're not stopping until we're famous. So you have to support us now. I'm not begging you, but I am begging you. We are delusional and we need help.
I think it's time to post our Be Real, and I haven't yet.
Oh, I did. I posted it while we were interviewing Alex. We are using an app called Be Real. Basically, though, we're not adding anyone that we don't know on it because we're trying to keep it Be Real. But it's a cool app, and get it and join it and play with your friends because it's fun. You just post a picture of whatever you're doing in the moment that the app goes off. So it's cool. It's random times throughout the day, and you get to see what your friends are doing.
I love it. I'm friends with like 4 people on it. I've been public on every social media platform since I got them, basically. And this is the first one I'm like just only being friends with people I want to be. And I don't know. It kind of adds like this little bit of excitement because I know that every time, at least at this point, since I have like 7 friends on it, I always see everyone's Be Real. It's not like, oh shit, I missed someone's post today. Yeah.
No, I see everybody's. It's a cool app. It's a cool idea. I'm glad that they came up with it.
How was your week? How was your weekend? Tell me about what you got going on or what you had.
It was good, Maddie, but I just realized if we talk about everything in this intro, we won't have anything for another intro. And we have to record double intros because we're doing the best we can, guys. Again, we are doing the best we can. So we're recording an intro now and we're going to record another intro later, but I'm not going to tell you who it's for. You guys will have to figure out which one we recorded back to back.
Okay, fine. All right. So I guess let's get this episode started. It's a long one. Who did we have today?
We had Alex Henry. We had him on the podcast and interviewed him. He is a chit chatter like we are. He has his own podcast, To Infinity. So he is not only a good interviewer, he was a good interviewee. We appreciated him coming on. And if you want to, you should listen to his podcast because Maddie has been on it as well.
Yeah, it was fun. He had me on a couple weeks ago, and it was the first time I've been on a podcast. Well, as a guest versus an interviewer. So it was nice to do that side of it.
Yeah, I bet. It's fun answering questions.
It is. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy. See you on the other side.
Race you there.
Hello, everyone. Let's welcome Alex Henry to the show.
Hi, Alex Henry.
Hello.
Alex and I know each other from the internet. Alex, did you and Hannah meet at my wedding?
I believe we probably did. We at least ran into each other. We may not have shook hands, but I recognize you.
I'll have to go through the wedding photos at the reception and find a photo that you're both in, and we can use that as promo. Like, even if you're just across the room.
I mean, you've seen my Photoshop skills in Snapchat, so if you need help, just let me know.
There you go.
It's true. Snapchat as Photoshop is a game changer. Like when you realize that you can use it to cut stuff out or whatever. No one needs.
What do you mean? Guys,
okay,
I'm
so clearly you don't
105.
listen to my podcast or follow my Twitter because I supply fantastic art through Snapchat.
I didn't know until today that you had a podcast, so I'm sincerely sorry, and I will start listening as everybody else will start listening to your podcast starting today. I can promise you that.
Man, great interview starting already. Didn't even know I had a podcast that Maddie was on.
No, wait. That's when I heard about the podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
That's when I heard about it.
You just didn't put 2 and 2 together.
I didn't. All of a sudden, she's put in the To Infinity podcast, and I was like, wait a minute. You did say someone called you and had you join their podcast.
Yeah, and then Ben made a special appearance with, I think he was gaming at the same time, so I threw him a little credit in there.
Nice. He loves a gaming credit.
And yelling, so that was cool.
I don't really have anything to talk about other than I feel like anytime I am talking to Alex, it devolves into some sort of conversation that includes OnlyFans. I myself don't have one.
When have we ever talked about OnlyFans?
We talked about it at my wedding, at the rehearsal.
Oh, we may have talked about that, yeah.
Oh, now he admits it. He goes, wait a minute.
No, here's the thing. Okay, so at Maddie's wedding, and is considered a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. And I had not drank a lot prior to that. I also did not eat a whole lot that day. And I had one glass of wine at the pre-reception area before you go and everything. And I was like, wow, holy shit. Oh, I feel great. And then I had the second one. And then I didn't stop there. I actually had a third. And I do not remember some of that night. I think it's called a brownout. I'm not really sure. I don't recall much. I do know I went up to Maddie and Ben and cried a little bit and told them I was so happy for them. That was genuine. I remember that part. But there was a lot of it that I just don't remember. So it could have been an OnlyFans discussion. I'm down to talk about it. You just let me know where you want to start with that.
I think it's funny because our conversation started in the sense of you being like, you guys should, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, finding a partner that is interested in doing it with you just to make money. You know what I mean? What a great side hustle. Not for me. I'm doing this. This is my OnlyFans. Don't really have anything to talk about though.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, does somebody here have one? Because even if I had one, I wouldn't admit it because my family has no boundaries at this point. So I can't admit to anything anymore.
I don't have one right now. I had one during the pandemic, and I don't mean to put myself on a pedestal and sound amazing. I made it to benefit others. So any of the money that I got, we sent it to people that were having a hard time. I was active duty Army. Well, I still am, but during the pandemic, I was active duty Army, so I wasn't worrying about money. And so I kind of capitalized on OnlyFans because a lot of people were doing it. And I was like, well, you don't just have to give me money. You can see my abs, or you can see my ass, or this or that. I never posted any just pure nudity. I had a pretty big gay following, I suppose. So they committed a lot. They wanted to see other things, but the most I did was feet pic. But I ended up making $1,000 to $1,500, and we funneled that out to people that really needed it, and it was fun. I think as an adult who is in the Army, I can't really do that, but I plan on getting out of the Army pretty soon, and I can almost guarantee I'll have an OnlyFans because there are a lot of videos I've had on my phone of, we'll say, friends, and I feel like it could be good content. I've never done something with someone that hasn't been down to put it online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But either one of us can't, or obviously it's usually me because of the Army stuff. I have a little too much recognizable tattoos, but I've been asked by a lot of people.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I've been asked through Twitter and Instagram and TikTok to come and create content, they say, with friends. For me, I'm like, you're telling me you're gonna pay me a little to smash, to beat those cheeks? Are you fucking kidding me? And they were like, yeah, you would get 20%. I'm like, I was gonna be cool with 5. That's chill.
It's a win-win.
It is, yeah. I get a bust a nut and get paid, just one though, because cancer. But that could also be kind of nice. You get some former cancer patients on your OnlyFans. You can say you support the St. Jude's. I'll throw my proceeds in there. But yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. It depends on what your profession is. If I get into the entertainment industry and I ended up making it or something, then I would delete OnlyFans within a second. But I think
it all depends too. It's like Cardi has an OnlyFans, and it makes sense. And I think that a lot of celebrities, that it's if they've done stuff where there's been nudity involved or whatever, to me, Jennifer Lawrence, the fact that her nudes were leaked, I'm like, why not have an OnlyFans? Everybody's already seen it. You know what I mean? Which is an awful thing to feel like. If you're confident enough to do that, because I do think it's a confidence thing for sure.
Yeah.
And you have the audience. No, for sure. And I think there's a difference in just how it's approached.
Yeah.
And what the content is that you're making.
I think I would make really funny content. I had an idea, right? I think it'd be really funny. Maybe Toy Story parody, right? So you have Woody, who is a hard guy down there, and then you got Buzz Lightyear, and we treat, in the Henry household, we treat toys that Buzz as teammates. So Woody and Buzz team up to take on, whatever obstacle they have in front of them. And maybe there's some other toys in there. You throw in a slinky, whatever.
Andy's mom,
right?
perhaps?
Yeah. And when she's bent over, her foot says Andy or something. I think it'd be kind of funny, and that'd be the content that I want to put out. Like, I don't want to just be like 30-year-old gets head. Like, no one wants to see that. Like, that's stupid. Like, at least throw in stepsister or something. Have it be something step,
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
What are you doing, step grandpa? Like,
step grandpa. I'm screaming.
I'm one pretty lucky old guy.
You alluded to this cancer survivor stuff. So tell us, you have one nut.
Yeah.
Tell us about your
makes shaving a little more difficult.
I don't really need to hear about the one nut. I meant tell us about your experience.
Well, I won't go through the whole story, but it was just interesting. One day, it just started to hurt kind of down in that area. And as guys, as I think sometimes girls feel maybe within like their breasts or something like that, sometimes it just feels weird. So I thought that's what it was. And then it progressively got hurt more. And I went to the gym thinking I can just work it off. That was a terrible idea. At the time I was in DC, so I literally hobbled back home. I was close enough to walk, but like, I think people probably thought I had to go number 2 very badly, but it was literally, I could not walk without like being a penguin. So I went to urgent care and waited an hour in complete pain, and they just told me to go to the ER immediately. And I go there, I wait for a little longer. The doctor has me pull my pants down, which I haven't really had my pants down in front of a guy that often in my life. The confidence was there. I just like, fuck it. It hurts so bad. I can't be embarrassed at this moment. But he told me, it's like, okay, we think it's either 2 things. And they said it's either torsion, which is when the testicle gets twisted. And I was like, no, like, give me the other thing. Holy shit. And he's like, well, the other thing's cancer. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyways, I'm butt ass naked, and I turn around and there's a scribe there, and just out of the spur of the moment, I was like, can you tell I squat? Because he was looking at my butt, and he didn't laugh. And it just made me feel really bad because I just got told I had cancer, and I was trying to like be funny about it. And then no one was just with it. So it made me feel even worse because humor is my coping mechanism. So I was just like, I want to feel a little bit better. I will share one quick story though. During the process, they had to do basically an ultrasound on my downstairs region. And I was on a little bit of drugs. I think I was on a couple perks, maybe, maybe a Xanny. I don't know. I'm not future, but there was this nice old lady that was doing it. And they had this gel, and it was warm. And so I'm on a lot of drugs. I'm getting this warm stuff rubbed down there, and Woody came out to play, and I felt so awkward. And I told the lady, I'm so sorry. This never happened. She was like, oh, don't worry. You're not the first. You won't be the last. And I was like, damn, girl. Like,
oh my God.
Is this door closed? Like, is this locked? What's up? But no, I had surgery the next week. They told me not to work out. The day before surgery, I hit chest, and I hit an all-time bench PR because I said, fuck it. I'm not going to be able to work out for like another 2 months. So got the surgery. It was very successful. And then now I have a lifetime's worth of comedy. I like to use cancer as kind of part of my stand-up routine because it's dark, but it's also funny. I get some laughs. Dating is always weird because I'm no longer at the age where I just kind of hook up a lot. But when I was, before everything happens, I felt like I had to stop and tell them, like, when you get down there, it's going to look a little different. And they're going to be like, is it small? I'm like, no. There's just things missing. They're like, what? I'm like, can you just wait?
Let me just,
there's not 2, there's 1, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time it's fine. Some are even more interested before. I'm like, oh, cool. So it's been fun. Underwear fits a little bit better. I think I'm a little more aerodynamic. So there are some benefits, I can still have kids.
Good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Great. And
good.
Did the military pay for all of that?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Funny story. I was supposed to deploy to Afghanistan a day after I got diagnosed. And so I got diagnosed and I didn't have to go, which I wish I could have because I haven't gotten a chance to deploy. But my life ended up actually having some badass things happen during that year, which I wouldn't have experienced had I not had cancer. So I kind of look at it as a blessing. It was interesting.
So you're in the military, have been, I think, most of your adult life. What was your trajectory into the military?
So yes and no. I actually got a full ride ROTC scholarship because I walked into the wrong room at a college visit for baseball. So that was pretty cool. I got my scholarship and I didn't actually think that I had to be in the Army. I thought it was like a 4-year, you do ROTC and then, if you want to, you can join. But if not, hey, thanks for participating in this program. Much like an athletic scholarship, because I was going there to play baseball. So I was like, oh, well, this just replaces it. And if I don't get drafted, maybe I'll have a job. I didn't want to actually join the military. Like I said, I didn't really read the contract that well. It turns out I had to be in the military after ROTC. So in 2015, I commissioned, which is the officer side of things. So I became a second lieutenant. And then you promote a year after that. And then a couple years later down the road, you become a captain, which is what I am now. And I did the reserves for the first few years. And then ever since 2019, I've been active duty. I've been plenty of different places, but I mainly split my time in DC and Texas. So it's been really fun.
Sorry, where are you right now?
I am in, tragically, Fort Worth, Texas.
Is it hot?
It's about 100 every day. And the low is usually like 85. I say politically you live in hell, but then when you walk outside, you just confirm it. You're like, all right, yeah, it's kind of burning.
No, absolutely. Okay, great. We're on the same page with Texas.
It's been tough dating, honestly. Like having to pull out now is just really not awesome. Cruz and Abbott, the moment they even see like a sperm cell enter, they're like, you better not abort that. That is a living being. And it's like, dude, it's 1 a.m. We just had a couple Oreos. Like, we didn't even mean to do this. So
we didn't even mean to do this.
But here we are. The consequences of our actions.
Yeah, so we have to drive to like Arizona or somewhere. I don't know which states have it. I haven't actually had to deal with that. But yeah, I'm in Texas right now. I spent the pandemic in DC, which was really interesting. I was with the Corps of Engineers. So we were building the makeshift hospitals, and I was the project manager nationally for that. So that was a lot of work, but I felt like it was one of the times in the military where I felt like I was actually doing something productive. And then DC is just a cool area anyways. If you guys haven't been there, it's pretty dope.
I love DC. I feel like it's so clean. Like when you're in DC proper, when you get like out into the DMA, it's no.
Everyone in DC is dirty.
Yeah, when you're like actually near like the capital and like all of that stuff, it's so like sterile, it feels.
No.
You don't think so?
I think you may have went on a good day, because before I was in the Army for this, I lived in DC as a regular person. I worked for Deloitte, so I worked for the FBI, and then I worked for NGA. FBI is in downtown, the J. Edgar Hoover building. It's kind of near Chinatown-ish, and everywhere around there is just like homeless people, and there's trash in places. I think maybe certain times of the year they make a more concerted effort to maybe clean it up. Maybe that's when you went. But from someone who's walked it every day, I was just like, damn, you could clean up just a little bit. What is it, LA? Geez.
Well, I don't know, though. I think I am comparing it to New York.
LA?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
not even LA. LA is clean in comparison. Like, when I was living in New York was the last time I was in DC, and all of us continually walking around were like, it's so nice that they don't have their trash literally just on the street. And, like, you can tell that the rich people that control our country live there. Like,
I'll go with that. Yeah, it's cleaner than New York City.
But I guess at the same time, that was also the last time I was in DC would have been 2018. So it's been a couple years. I like DC. I think when you get out into the DMA, it can like be rough around the edges for sure.
Now, DMA, do you mean the DMV?
Is it called DMV? I
DC,
mean,
Maryland, Virginia.
Oh no, I just meant like what does DMA stand for? It's like the metro area.
It's a drug.
District.
DMA is a drug.
DMA
what drug?
Means
DMT, DMA, I don't know.
It's like a like
Let's
city because it's like each state has a DMA.
Today.
Oh, each state has one.
Yeah, it's like major regions. It's like the
DMA.
Designated market areas.
Wow!
Whatever. So you would consider like the DMV
neighborhoods.
Well, yeah, but like, so people in Chicago are from not necessarily Chicago. They're from the Chicago DMA or the Chicago land area / like the suburbs. So LA would be like the LA DMA is like also Venice, Santa Monica, Pasadena, whatever. But it's like people would say they're from LA, probably.
Well, shit, I'm learning a lot today. Okay.
I might just be using terms that aren't actually appropriately used, but here's what I'll say. I say DMA a lot in things when I'm relating to like districts.
Hey, that's all right. If it's not a real word, you're starting it. You're making the movement happen. So we'll go with that.
I think it is a thing, but I'm not.
No one here is going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, we support.
Yikes. I'm a mess. No, it's definitely a thing. Okay. I don't feel crazy anymore. Sorry, I had to do some Googling.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's still confirming it just to make sure.
Just to make sure. So you've lived in Texas, you've lived in DC area. You're from Ohio, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the blessing of being raised in a Midwestern state. Tell us about growing up in Ohio.
It was interesting. My parents divorced when I was like 3 months. So I had a really interesting upbringing. So my dad lived in the country at first, and my mom lived in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. So she was Shania Twain, ironically, and Backstreet Boys, and my dad was like Queen and Tupac. So I lived in the country, but listened to rap and rock with my dad. And then when I was in the suburbs, I listened to like some country with my mom, and then, pop. So I felt like I really got an interesting perspective, because then my dad moved into the city of Dayton, and my mom moved into Troy, and neither family at this time didn't make a lot of money. So I was living in the ghetto in Dayton, and then I was living in the ghetto in Troy, which a lot of people don't think Troy has a ghetto, but I mean, any small area has something like that. So I got to experience like all different walks of life, met a lot of different people. And then being in 2 cities, I had 2 different friend groups. So I had the blessing of, having at least someone each place. And then growing up, my dad ended up starting making a lot of money. So we moved into like really good suburbs, and I was able to play on travel teams because we had money to do that. So my athletic career started taking off a little bit more. My dad played a little minor league baseball, so he blessed me with a really strong arm. But he's 6'3" and I'm 5'10" on a great day. So I sometimes think he's not my dad, but I look just like him. So it's really embarrassing. But Ohio in general, I think it gets shit on quite a lot because people are chronically online and don't know what they want to complain about that day. But we had Kings Island, we had Six Flags, or no, I think it was Cedar Point in Cleveland. You got Columbus, which has Ohio State, which is where everyone born in Ohio just wants to go and they love it. I know some states kind of have that fight. Like I went to University of Kentucky and people are torn between Louisville and Lexington. But in Ohio, like everyone wants to go to Ohio State pretty much. Like you can go to OU, you can go to Toledo, Kent, all that things, Cincinnati. But OSU reigns supreme. I'm sorry, TOSU. My apologies. But no, it's really cool. We're known for being really good at sports from a high school standpoint. So I got to be part of that. I won a state championship in baseball. I did pretty well in football. So that was interesting. I ended up getting recruited by a lot of smaller schools, but I ended up going with Kentucky as a walk-on. But growing up there was neat. Growing from a political standpoint, where I was from in the country, it helped me not want to be around those people. So I went to a very country school my senior year, purely for athletic reasons, but it was filled with what would be MAGA supporters now. It didn't have one black kid. It had one Asian freshman, I think. She was on the cheer team, so that was good. She was making friends, but they were very just yeehaw, like Hicks, basically, is what the best word for it is. And I quickly realized that is not who I want to be. Like I had Cabela, I don't know what the brand is, but you can get it at Bass Pro Shops. I had a bunch of that stuff because my dad hunts and all of them are like that. But I was like, I don't want to relate to this stuff. So I went into college already like a little bit progressive. Even though I have a lot of conservative ideals, I think seeing how those people live every day, I was like, no, I don't want to be like that. So it was interesting though. My mom is pretty liberal and my dad is pretty conservative. Even though he's agnostic and my mom is extremely religious. So it's like this weird clash of, okay, so you're this way on this issue, but you're completely the other side on these things and you wouldn't expect them to be the way they are. But it was a fun ride. And then I ended up in Kentucky. I got to say, I fuck with Lexington, but the rest of the Kentucky, I'm not really about it.
I like Louisville.
Louisville's okay. It's not bad.
I've only spent time there when I was doing things like
Yeah.
growing up, because I'm only in Indiana, where I grew up was only like an hour from Louisville. So I had all sorts of like competitions and
Were you Evanston or whatever it is? Evansville or I think it's called
no, Columbus, Indiana.
Columbus,
So I'm
Indiana.
like, yeah, I'm like
And
half.
then you wound up in Columbus, Ohio. Look at that.
Yep.
What a
Georgia's
parallel.
next. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like halfway between Indy and Louisville is where I grew up.
Yeah.
But
I did some training at Fort Knox. It's awful. And then I did some more training at Fort Knox earlier this year, and I can confirm it's still awful. And it's just far enough from Louisville to be annoying. So I
yeah,
think it made my hatred not, I don't hate Kentucky, but it did not do any improvements for my
that's
thoughts of
fair.
it.
If you could give 18-year-old Alex any advice, what would you tell him?
I would say worry less about losing your virginity and worry more about being great at something. So I had a girlfriend in high school and she wanted to save it for marriage. And then she ended up smashing 3 dudes at prom and cheating on me. That didn't create any trauma that I talked to my therapist about. But, anyways, I was a little shaken by that. So I just wanted to get my virginity out of the way. And I was a little scared during college, but I was just trying my hardest. So I was girl crazy and I was not getting good grades. And I went to school for pre-dental. So I was going to be medical. I was quite intelligent. No, well, I won't say intelligent. I was smart in high school. I didn't apply myself. So I wish I could tell myself, hey, apply yourself in school because nerds get ass after college. And that's when it really matters. I should have given up sports. I should have focused more on going to the gym and doing yoga and CrossFit and Orange Theory and things of that nature. I think that would have served me a lot better. I may have had a different path in life. I may not be in the army or even know any of you guys, but I would have at least been able to, I don't know how to even describe it. I think I would have done things sooner that I would have enjoyed.
Yeah.
So, like, we talked about acting or screenwriting and or things like that. I should have been using my time in maybe the drama club or something like that, because I've always wanted to act. I've always done performances, maybe not officially in high school because we didn't really have one where I went, but it's always something that I want to pursue. But, thinking, well, girls aren't going to like this. If they see me doing plays, like, they're not going to want to do anything. Little did I know, apparently that's just where you get like head all the time. So I really kind of missed out on that opportunity. I could have just had the best of both worlds. Yeah, I don't know. I think 18-year-old Alex was afraid to kind of be who he really wanted to be just because of kind of my dad's upbringing and always wanting to make sure my friends thought I was cool and had swag and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry for the novel, but I think that's what I would have more preferred.
No, I love that. I also, God, that girl, don't drop her name because we'll have to bleep it. But
Starts with a K.
of course it does, Karen.
Yeah.
Finish
She's
it.
married and
Finish the
has a
whole
couple
name.
kids. I forget what her actual name is, but she was blonde and
She's of course blonde.
she was a nice girl. She thought I
Sure.
was okay. So I'll make a long story very short.
Oh, here we
One of
go.
my
Now we'll know his side and we'll
one
get
of my
to
best
hear the real
friends
dirty deeds.
one of my best friends was named Jenny, and she was going through a breakup, and I went to hang out with her and just make sure she was doing okay. And this girl, K, we'll just call her K, or we could call her A. XOXO.
Ooh.
Gossip girl. She thought I was cheating on her because Jenny and I had a lot of chemistry, but from like a friendship perspective. So she thought I cheated on her. So then she retaliated, did all the stuff that she did. And we didn't talk after that for like 2 years. So that was interesting. The only reason we ended up reconnecting was because I had been flirting with one of her sorority sisters at Kent State, and they found out that they knew each other. And I was like, oh, there goes that. I think she's having a good life, and I don't hold anything against her. I think I'm a better person because of it.
It builds strong
Good for her.
bonds.
Yeah, I didn't know what therapy was in college, so I just worked out a lot. But then I also ate like shit, so it didn't really give me any. Oh, yeah, go back to 18-year-old Alex. Hey, learn what nutrition is. You can't just eat like a bucket of chicken and barbecue sauce. Like,
You
learn
were
a
in
vegetable.
Kentucky.
No,
There's
I'm
only
talking
so
like
much you can
grilled
do.
chicken. Yeah, I'm talking like in a bowl. This is what I would do. I would fry up, or not fry up. I put it on a pan, make the chicken, cut it into like little cubes and squares or whatever, and I would do little chicken chunks for myself. But I would bury it and barbecue sauce. And I was like, why am I not making any progress? And it's like, oh, because the barbecue sauce was 400 calories.
Yeah.
Not really, maybe it was, I don't know. But I was like, damn, you're stupid. And then, because that's when people make the gains. I'm like, if you would have just been smart, you would have had a really good body. I mean, I had an okay one, but I was like, damn, man, you could have been better. Yeah, I forget how I went down that tangent. But yeah, that girl can.
I have not been cheated on. Not to
That
brag.
you know of.
Not to brag. Well, I kind of was, but it wasn't like a real one.
Just over the pants?
Yeah, I think just over the pants.
Oh, that doesn't count.
No,
As long as
that's what I'm saying.
that's fine. Yeah.
It all counts.
You know what I saw that was interesting today? This girl was like, the least that a guy can do is unfollow all the half-naked chicks on his Instagram page when he gets into a relationship. It's like, okay, if my relationships last 3 months, then I'm gonna have to go find these people again. You know, what am I gonna miss in that
keep them
quarter? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, come on, no, like I'm gonna keep them. I'm sorry, like you like Ryan Reynolds pictures, as do I. Like, let's have a threesome. Damn, like don't be so fucking judgmental and selfish. Like they're not gonna unfollow, Chad from fucking college that they're just friends with. Well, I'm not gonna unfollow Vanessa Hudgens. Sorry.
That's
My
all.
apologies.
That's all.
I think that's fair.
It is. I think it's more than fair. Like at the end of the day, like I'm the one recording you and we're posting our video on OnlyFans. Like I'm not posting Vanessa and Chad's never going to be in there. So like, let's build this empire together and quit being so jealous.
So we sort of started talking about this. You're into fitness. Some would consider you like a Fitstagrammer. I would say you're more than just that, but you're like in the fitness community, sort of in the way I am, except for I always did more than niche down to only fitness. So I didn't like continue down that. What sparked that? Was that a breakup?
No, actually, I love this story and it's not like super deep. I had a really good friend I met during my freshman year of college, but before we started college. His name is Kevin Knoll. And he is currently a teacher in Kentucky and he coaches football, but he showed up and he was jacked, at least college freshman jacked. And we took a liking to each other. I think we had a lot of similar interests. The first day we ever hung out, we had to drive somewhere. And this is like movie magic. And maybe if we get further into this conversation, it'll go into what Maddie and I know I'm working on. But I get into this guy's old truck. And the first thing that plays is, and it's Taylor Swift, one of the songs. It may have been Picture to Burn or something like that. And I was like, oh shit, my boy, like this slaps. Like, let's go. Like that is what she was talking about, an old truck driving down the road and like two friends, my hand was on his thigh, his hand was on the steering wheel. You know how it goes. But no, the hand part didn't happen. But no, we were doing that and he was like, hey man, do you lift? And I was like, I mean, I have worked out before. And this was, my freshman year. So the sting of K was still kind of in my heart, but it wasn't what led me to working out. I went a few times with him. He let me try his C4 pre-workout. The first time I took it, I spent the first half an hour at the gym in the bathroom because it just runs through you. And I don't drink coffee. I don't really have caffeine too much in my life. So it just wrecked me. But after that, I started loving the tingles. And I started noticing my body changing. I became known as like a fitness guy, especially in the ROTC realm. Like it was Kevin and myself. Kevin wasn't much of a runner. I somehow stumbled into just being a natural runner. I wouldn't say I'm a marathon guy, but like 2 to 5 miles, like I got you. We started getting in charge of doing PT as freshmen, which that's like either a senior or like a good junior's job, which is stupid thinking back of, but it was cool for us because we were like, oh shit, like we got this down. And then we had the JC, the Johnson Center. That was our gym at Kentucky. I'm not gonna lie, like we were pulling and it was really cool because I had never had it before. I've always just been the funny guy. I've never really had good looks. I had a buzz cut. I was a little overweight most of the time and it was just my athletics. So getting to college and growing my hair out and getting a better body, it unlocked this confidence in myself that I wouldn't have had without Kevin. So the tragic part is that he got homesick after his first semester and he moved back to Northern Kentucky and went to NKU and met his wife there. She's awesome. Gabby's dope. I went to their wedding. I was going to be his best man, but I couldn't I didn't think I was going to make the wedding, but then I ended up making it. But I was still in the groomsmen, but he still let me do a speech. That was really nice of him. Yeah, he moved back, and luckily I had fallen in love with the gym already at that point. So I just kept going, kind of like in Kevin's memory, in honor. So like every time I did a bicep curl, I was like, for Kevin. Yeah, I fell in love with it, and that was around the time that Instagram was kind of coming on. Twitter was a thing, and I used Twitter, but it wasn't as picture based as it is now. So I wasn't using it for a lot of fitness, and that was before I even had the account that I have now. So it was a completely different audience. Like I built all of my following based on like hashtags and trending topics and just kind of being funny, if you will. At least on an internet sense, maybe not in person at that time, but continue that into social media. And exactly what Maddie said, like you're in it, but it's not your only thing. I didn't want to just be a fitness guy. No offense to them, but like that's just douchey to me. Like, what do you have to offer other than solid muscles or one, ebook that you wrote in 30 minutes and you sell for $100 to everybody? Like, I wanted to be better than that. Like I started a fitness club at my college. It's probably gone now, but I started it my junior year and we had a lot of people. I was a certified personal trainer. So I was taking people in the Johnson Center and helping them out and creating programs for them pretty much for free because I had a good job at Apple. So I was like, whatever, I'll do it. And it just really became a passion of mine. And I've kept doing it, even though a lot of people say after a while you kind of drop off. But here I am doing crunches every now and then. So not too bad.
Do you remember the first social media post of yours that went viral, if you will?
And this is not meant in a braggadocious way. I've had quite a few.
Yeah. I just didn't know if there was one you remember as like, that is the first time.
I have
Huge.
one that I feel ashamed of. I actually copied a tweet and posted it, and it went bigger than the original tweet that I found. That was like 2012, and I'm just really embarrassed by it. So I won't count that. I'll say my first viral one that I can remember was after a shooting or something. I was talking about how like the founding fathers weren't expecting to have a fucking assault rifle and all these things. God forbid your listeners know I'm a liberal now. But I was just like kind of making
Trust
fun of
me,
them.
I think they know.
I know. But
Trust me, you can't listen. I am a communist, so you can't.
there you go.
I
By
am
the
the
way,
worst one on this call.
if anyone's listening and not watching, I do not have a bowl cut with green hair. Like I am a normal human being. I'm not that liberal. But no, it was basically just making fun of like the right to bear arms and just talking about how like they had wooden teeth. Like I don't think they really intended for people to have Gatling guns and whatnot. And it really raised a lot of flags in the conservative world. So it went viral because normal sane people retweeted it and engaged it, and then insane people started commenting on it, and I muted it because I was like, fuck it, like you know what, it was a literal joke, and if you're that triggered, then whatever. So that was interesting. It ended up being more negative than positive just because of who got a hold of it. But I will say the first time that my narcissistic self went viral was during the pandemic. And I was running a lot because the gyms had closed and I had phenomenal abs. Like I had veins on my abs. I was like, damn, son. And I am the jorts king. I will remain wearing jorts until I can no longer wear jorts. And I'm not saying I started it because jorts were back in like the 1970s, but I feel like I was the only one I ever saw wearing jorts, and I felt ashamed. Sometimes I'm like, damn, can y'all like throw some support? But anyways, I threw a picture in a very well lit bathroom, and I had my thighs flying. The jorts were pulled up a little bit. The abs were abbing, and my hair was just flawless. And so I took a picture, edited it a little bit in Visco, which is my fucking partner in crime. Love Visco. And I think the right people got a hold of it and just started retweeting it. Like all the sex worker accounts started retweeting it. All my friends retweeted it and stuff. And it just went hella viral. And I gained like 1,000 something followers. And I was like, that's dope. I don't know who any of you are, but thanks for being here. So that was cool. I would consider those two kind of like my first times where I was like, people saw this.
Yeah.
But that's on Twitter. TikTok is different. That was really cool. I've gone, I'll say mini viral, probably 25% of my posts. Most of the other time, no one gives a fuck, but that's okay. because that's for my followers, and
Yeah.
I can go viral at other points. But I actually got in trouble for my most viral video ever from the Army. It was a parody of Rudy. No, I'm sorry. It did get me in trouble, but they found my other video. So I made a parody of Rudy where soldiers were throwing their uniforms at me and saying they're not going to get the vaccine. And I was like, okay, I don't care. That's fine. And my commander got mad at it. And so he started looking at my TikTok. And my most viral video ever was I had just finished getting my second COVID shot. And I held it up and I was like, just got my final COVID shot. Y'all know what that means. No more condoms. And then I threw my vaccination card in the back of my car and just kept driving. And it ballooned up. It went hella viral. And I thought it was super funny. It was like at 1 million views.
I
And
remember that TikTok.
yeah, my commander got mad at it, not because of the content, but because I was driving on a military base and recording at the same time. I'm like, fuck. If I would have just driven like a little further, it'd been fine. I had to delete it, but that's okay.
You're just like Kylie Jenner, getting in trouble with your followers for posting and driving.
Yep. The only thing that's different between her and I is like when I go home, I don't take a private jet. I just drive in my Kia. So it's a little different.
I don't know when I first started following you. It was before Ben and I were probably together, to be honest, because we have another mutual friend, a couple of mutual friends. But I remember at one point you were releasing music.
I do make music, yeah.
Have you been making music lately? Where are you at with that?
I have not made music in a while. I've always been musically inclined. I've always been decently okay at singing. Not really good enough to be like in a great band, but I can pass. I was in a punk band when I was younger. We did okay. We weren't that good, but
Everyone does.
I fell in love with this girl in DC and it ended horrifically for me. And it actually made me move to Texas because I couldn't handle being in DC anymore. But I wrote a song about it. It was actually like really heartwarming. And I showed it to her like a dumbass. And she was like, I'm glad you're finding a way to express your feelings after this. And I was like, thanks. Will you marry me or like, what are we doing? So like, are we doing this or did I just waste a day? But anyways, after that, I made a whole EP. I made like 9 songs. One of mine was something about a side. Something about being a side piece. It was called Side Piece. And it was about being a side piece and how fun it was and how he can have you during, the week or whatever. Like, let me smash on the weekend and have fun. And then it takes a turn at the end and talks about like being lonely during the week and like missing her and like wishing that it could be more than a side piece. But then, it kind of ends like, but I'm just a side piece and blah, 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 blah. And so I try to like actually make decent songs that have a story or make you feel some way. And a lot of it has kind of black bear, murky, bassy vibes to it, but obviously not as good. Like think of them as toddlers if they made a song. That's the kind of production that they had. But it was really fun. I haven't made any recently just because I haven't had really the time or resources. I'm a little scared to do it in my apartment because I don't want people hearing me. I'm not nervous to do karaoke or sing in public, but when I am in my apartment, something inside of me doesn't want me to sing. And like, I don't want to just sing like this because no one's going to hear me. I want to belt it.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm doing fine financially, but I don't want to soundproof an apartment I'm only going to be in for like a year or two or something. If I move out to LA or somewhere, wherever I'm doing out after the military, I'll probably get a house somewhere. Not in LA, but yeah. I will likely get myself a little studio. I used to be able to play guitar a little bit. I cannot anymore. So I'm either going to have to relearn or find a friend. But I mean, I feel like if it was LA, making a band would take maybe like 3 days. So
yeah, if you want to do it, it's quick.
Yeah, and I've read enough about the Foo Fighters to know that I could probably live that life. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of it was California inspired. Like there's a song called Encinitas because I just really loved being in that area. A lot has to do with like wearing Vans and stupid stuff. I don't mean it stupid in the sense of like unintelligent, but just things that make me happy that maybe like 4 people relate to. So maybe that's why my music career didn't take off. I did make a couple covers. That there was a cover of, I forget what his name was, but I posted on Twitter and he liked it and he commented. He's like, "Hey, that's pretty good." And I was like, "Hey, that's dope." So, Bryce Fine. I did a cover of one of his songs,
Is he
something
a
about
country
LA.
singer?
No, Bryce Fine is R&B
Okay.
kind of
Yes.
thing. I covered that. I covered an Eden song, covered a couple Black Bear songs, and then I covered Nothing Nowhere. I don't know. I feel like if I actually had some time in a studio and a real band and I could sing, I might actually be able to make something pretty solid. But
Yeah.
again, advice to 18-year-old me, go after things that you want to do. And, I wouldn't be a 30-year-old about to start this. I would be 21, which is a little more marketable to people because then I could talk about like 21-year-old things and then grow into it. Now I have to be like, my fucking rent sucks,
Yeah, but I don't know. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of 21-year-olds, that like need music and art curated to them. But there's also people that are 30 years old that need music and art curated for them. So
if Machine Gun Kelly can transition
that's what
to
I'm
punk
saying.
at like 31, I'm good.
Yeah.
You're fine. So we briefly mentioned that you have a podcast called To Infinity. Just give like a quick elevator pitch. What's your podcast about?
So the podcast is hosted by me, but it's not about me. I want to bring a lot of really interesting people on that just make you think or inspire you. So a lot of podcasts, they talk a lot about themselves and they only have one genre or type of industry that they cover. I have a lot of different people. Well, I plan on. I've only had 3 episodes right now, but I've had people talk about their social media strategy, military life, or I've had Maddie on and talk about just her life in general and acting and being in the industry. And I just want to bring things to people that make their car ride or Stairmaster time interesting. I don't have a goal of being highbrow. I don't have a goal of, a certain amount of people a week or whatever. I just kind of want to bring some cool shit to people. And if that's every week, it's every week. If it's every 2 weeks, then, I don't plan on being someone's favorite podcast. I just kind of want to be there kind of, for them if they need it.
You got socials that you want to plug?
If people want to follow me on Twitter, it's ALX_HNRY, Alex Henry. And then my Instagram and TikToks are lifting, like working out, lifting Margs, MARGS, like a margarita, just shortened. My podcast is called To Infinity, and it's on Spotify and Apple. I don't think I've included on too much other because I don't really have a huge crowd. If you want to listen to it, got a couple cool people on there, and then we'll try to add some more people in like 2 years. If you remember this podcast and I'm in LA trying to work, Venmo me. I might be poor. So we'll just keep that in mind.
Love that. Perfect. Good. That was a good little wrap.
I love
Thanks,
it.
y'all.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
No,
Alex.
Thank you for having me. This is my first time on a podcast.
You did great.
It's not the last. I feel special. So this is great.
We'll have you back.
Yeah.
I love it. Less anal talk, I promise.
No, more.
Or more. Yeah, honestly.
Well, I'll be damned. Okay.
The further we get in here.
That's what she said.
Love a big dump.
Yes, girls poop on this podcast.
Just on this one, though.
Yeah, on the other ones, I can't speak for those girls.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what?
I can't speak for that.
I hated Call Her Daddy for the longest time because I think it was an awful influence on women in general because they're like break up with their boyfriend, cheat on them, do all these things, causing trauma with everybody, and they would just like go crazy, and then they split up. And I think her name's like Alex or something. I think she does a lot better job now. I don't listen to it, but anytime I see 2 girls on a podcast, I'm just like, this is already better than Call Her Daddy. And so I just appreciate that.
Good. I'm glad.
We want this to be not call her daddy, but like call your mommy.
Yeah. You know what? Call your dad and call your mom. That's what we want. We don't want you to call your daddy.
Father.
Yeah. Call your real father figure.
Talk to your mom. Yeah, I don't want to talk to your mother.
Call your mom.
Yeah.
Call your grandma because
she doesn't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Speaking of not having a lot of time left, I mean, Emmett, my guy, dude.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, he'd propose today if he could. I'm the problem.
Oh, Emmett, I'm so sorry. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
You should. Problem.
Yeah, I am the problem. I know I'm the problem. I
If I
told
had
you
an
I'm the
Aerodeck,
problem.
I would pull one right now for you, but
Damn.
you know what they say.
Well, I think we've experienced a lot of growth today. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we
so
sure
too.
have.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for
See you soon,
joining.
Alex.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye.
I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
What a great episode, Hannah.
That was so good. I'm really glad we interviewed him. I think it was one of our favorite ones because he talked so much and it was so great to go through everything. It was one of those where I had a lot of questions and then as he was talking, he just answered the questions as we went. So it was nice. It was an easy interview.
So this is the last episode of season 1, Hannah. How did we
It
get here?
is. Oh my God. I can't believe it. How did we record 10 episodes? I don't remember anything, and I feel like we recorded Cassie like a week ago.
Absolutely. It feels like it's absolutely insane to me that like that means we have recorded for at least 10 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. How consistent are we? I'm so impressed.
I don't mean to be a brat, but Hater said we couldn't do it.
Yeah, and we're doing
Hater
it.
said we wouldn't be able to do this on our own.
Well, we aren't doing it quite on our own because we have a we have a very large team.
But we brought
were.
all those people on.
Yes, we brought them on because we needed them because we are doing great, guys. We're doing the best we can, and that's all you can ask for.
It's true. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to season 1. You sadly won't be getting an episode next week, but the YouTube for this one will drop, or one of them will drop. So you aren't going to be completely lonely, but you will get a new interview for, I guess, a week, 2 weeks.
Absolutely. So you can't miss us for too long.
Yeah.
And we're basically breaking seasons because of my birthday. And it just ended up working out very well. But we're taking a break for a couple weeks and then we should be back in September.
Our first episode of season 2 will be dropping on September 2nd.
Okay, there you go. September 2nd. That's when you'll see us again. Until then, be safe, be healthy, be smart, make good choices.
Be kind.
Be kind. See you next time.
Guess you're all caught up.